Hola, bienvenido a la Biblioteca de Buscadores de Almas. Esta semana os traigo un libro, Expediente Roswell, del escritor José Caravaca. Es un libro relacionado con OVNI y la verdad es muy interesante. Os dejo aquí varias fotos que os voy a enseñar. A mí me ha gustado mucho y quiero que ustedes lo lean. Os voy a contar un poquito sobre este escritor y sobre este libro. Y espero que os guste. El escritor nos comenta en este libro, Expediente Roswell, que se estrelló un ovni en el desierto de Roswell en 1947. Existen muchas pruebas que demuestran que los militares tienen en su poder naves extraterrestres. Son ciertas las diapositivas que muestran supuestamente los tripulantes de OVNI de Roswell. Hay análisis donde profundizan como nunca antes había hecho en todos los entresijos de este increíble suceso. Es más, ustedes los lectores, cada diapositiva y cada foto veréis donde se muestran los extraterrestres que han originado una gran polémica a nivel mundial. Nuevos y reveladores, testimonios, documentos y pruebas. Y es el mayor expediente X del gobierno norteamericano y al descubierto. Les voy a leer una pequeña estrofa que para mí como investigador es muy importante. A ver qué opinan ustedes. Este impresionante descubrimiento, a temor de la creciente noticia del hallazgo del platillo, importunaba a los militares y obligaron a un rápido traslado, atravesando a plena luz del día la ciudad de Roswell. El disco fue transportado en un camión del ejército con un remolque plano, cubierto solamente con una lona. El convoy era escoltado por varios jeeps con soldados armados. Algunos vecinos destacaron que pudieron observar a través de la lona un objeto en forma de huevo o cónico. Otros testigos describieron unos restos parecidos a un automóvil Volkswagen. Eran unos trozos de metal retorcidos. Sin embargo, la habitual y constante presencia de tropas del ejército por la ciudad evitó que muchas personas prestaran mayor atención. Todas las pesquisas apuntan a que los restos y los supuestos ocupantes del platillo fueron transportados hasta el hangar número 84.
My dad was stationed here in Roswell and was part of the cleanup crew whenever the crash happened. And so he was actually involved in it. His last tour of duty was in Vietnam. He acquired Agent Orange, which gave him cancer of the spine. So 2 weeks after we found out, he passed away. But before he passed away, my mother and I had taken him to Clovis, and they airvacked him out to El Paso where he passed away. And as they were getting ready to put him on the gurney to load him up, he told me, he said, he always called me his baby. He said, baby, don't ever let anyone tell you that that crash didn't happen. He said, it happened. I was out there, I saw the crash site, I saw the spacecraft, and I saw the grays. And the grays was in reference to the color of the skin. And 2 weeks later, he passed away.
He kept that secret for that long?
For that long. He had spent almost 26 years in the Air Force. He had the highest security clearance that the Air Force gives. And he never said a word. On the day he passed away, my mother still never knew. He knew he was going to die. And it's very moving that he should have that much love for me, that he would reveal something so important. But I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
You are honoring him now by telling this to everyone.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to. Every time I tell the story, I feel that it's something that he would have wanted, that he couldn't do himself. But I always feel that he's with me.
My dad was one of the soldiers or the military people that went out and picked the aliens up when they crashed here in 1947.
How did you find out?
He told my sister and I just before he passed away, in '88 when he passed away. He never talked about it before that because the government had threatened them with their lives and threatened them with their pensions and threatened them with their families' lives. So he had never talked about it until just before he passed away.
What did he tell you?
He said that he went out and found that when they got there that he observed the crash site, a circular type ship crash site, and there was debris strewn everywhere, and that he had found 3 bodies. They had large heads on them, and at least one of them was still alive when they brought him back to the base.
And he kept that?
Kept that a secret his whole life. He was born 1923, and he kept it a secret until 1987, 88 when he passed away.
I was at the fire station the day the state policeman came by, and he had a piece of the material. And all of the firemen handled it and played with it, and when they were through playing with it, I got to handle it and play with it for a while.
What did you do with it?
I would wad it up in my hand and then drop it on the table. And by the time it hit the table, it was totally flat. And it was so soft that it did not wrinkle. It didn't make a noise, there was no noise, and you couldn't feel anything when it was in your hand. They tried to set it on fire with their lighters and it wouldn't burn, and they tried to cut it with their knives and they couldn't cut it. And they just talked about how strong it was and how it didn't wrinkle at all. No wrinkles anywhere. Wadded up, and by the time it hit the table, it was like you'd poured water on the table. No one was afraid of it until after the government made such an issue.
What happened then?
Everybody got afraid to even talk about it because whoever knew about it got threatened. You know, they came out to our house and they threatened me, and my mother was there, she heard the threats. Now, if Daddy was threatened at the time, it wasn't at the house. Probably at the fire station, they were all cautioned. But what was actually said, I only know what was said to me.
What did they tell you?
They first tried to convince me I didn't know anything, I didn't see anything, and I didn't hear anything, and I kept insisting I did, because we were taught you couldn't lie. And when he insisted, you don't know anything at all. And he finally said, if you don't understand that you don't know anything, I'll tell you what will happen to you. He said, you know, we had 2 POW camps here during World War II. This is very shortly after World War II was over that this all happened. And he said, you can be taken from your parents. We'll send them to one of the POW camps. We'll send all of the kids to the other. And one was south of Roswell called Orchard Park, and the other one was in Artesia. And the Artesia camp was not actually a POW camp, it was the Japanese internment camp for the Japanese citizens. And he said, now if that doesn't convince you that you can't talk about this, we can just take you out here and kill you in the desert. He said, it's a big old desert and nobody will ever find your bodies. So we'll just bury you out there. Nobody will ever know you were ever here. So I promised I wouldn't talk about it.
Were you impressed?
I was scared to death. Absolutely scared to death.
Before you were 13, your father told you about it. He went to the place.
Right.
What did he see?
What did he see? He said that they thought they were going to a plane crash site. And they did go out for things like range fires and plane crashes and things like that. But he said when we got there, we found a flying saucer had crashed. And there was one that was still alive. And he was walking around, and 2 that were in body bags laying on the ground. And he said they were already in the bags before they got there. And the little one that was walking around talked to them in their head. And that was a shock to all of the firemen, and he said, we talked about it, and everybody heard the same thing, although there was no sound. So it was mental telepathy, but my dad wouldn't have known that, the terminology for it. Not in 1950 or 47 when that was.
What did he tell you? What did he tell him?
The little person told him, we're not here to hurt you. We don't mean anybody any harm. There's nothing you can do to help us. Because they were talking about among themselves, what can we do, you know, what should we do? And the little person told them, there's nothing you can do to help us. He said, there's nothing you can do. And that's pretty close to the point that the military got there and told them to leave. So they left. The clothing they had on covered their body from their neck all the way down. Their hands were exposed, or its hands were exposed. More of a grayish pink than any other actual color. Now the clothing was silver, which was basically kind of the same color as the piece of material I played with. If I meet someone who doesn't believe it, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own belief. I know what happened.
Yo les leería el libro entero, pero me gustaría que fueran ustedes los que me comentaran aquí abajo en los comentarios qué os ha parecido. Y no olviden que vivir entre libros os alimenta la mente y el alma.